don't know where it goes. I'm on a road. Follow your heart. It won't let you down. Follow your heart. Take the steps beyond your way. Take the steps. When you have a dream, you gotta start. It's the only way. If you're gonna shine, and you're gonna shine, shine, shine. You're gonna shine. And we are shining bright on this very special episode of The Ranch. And we span the globe for the best in indie Americana music. And I'll get back to that point in a second. We are brought to you by Blast Music 24/7. Your one stop for all indie artists. If you're an indie artist, you want to be on Blast Music 24/7. And if you're looking for new music, you want to look on Blast Music 24/7. They just got great stuff, great networking, and it's just this great platform. Hotel Universe. You stop for your video needs. You tell them Randie sent you, and they're going to hook you up. So that's good. We have our listeners, Plow Zone in California, and in Paris, we have My Indie Radio. So always love our listeners, and our streaming stations are always glad to have you guys aboard too. So tonight we have a very special episode on this occasion because I just got back from the ISA Awards. And I got to tell you guys, I came back, call me shocked, okay? Because I was sitting there, and I had won for Video of the Year 2 years ago for bronze. So when I didn't win video, I'm like, I'm done. Okay, there's too much talent here. And when I won for Bronze Album of the Year, I can't even listen to my speech and how incoherent it was. But I was really thrilled. So today's episode, we're going to have a representative from Blast. We're going to bring D-Ray on in a second. But I got to tell you, I've had many conversations with D-Ray. And him reviewing my music, I don't know. D-Ray, you make me a little nervous.
You know, I feel like I'm in this frame of mind. I feel like I should be called Doc Holliday or something because I feel like I'm rustling. I'm coming on the ranch, and I'm going to temporarily take over. So,
You
hi,
are.
how you doing, friend? Good to see you.
It's good to have you on your show. Like,
Yeah, I'm in the driver's seat.
and I feel like we should swap sides. I can't do that on here, but like I'm on like the other side of the microphone. It's feeling really weird, actually. It's feeling weird.
Hey, I'm out here on the ranch. Where the heck is the Wi-Fi signal, and where are the bathrooms? Anyway,
That's about it. You're on the ranch. You're on your
but
own.
but it is good to see you. And for the uninitiated, I am G-Ray, the producer. I am the executive director of Blast Media LLC. I'm also program director for Blast Radio. I am a host of a couple of podcasts on Blast News 247. And Randie just so happens to be my friend. And so I told her I was going to be gentle because now I am in the big
You know, I
chair.
know D-Roy well enough. I do.
Yeah, I'm in the big chair now, so let's get this party started. So I have so many jobs that and I stay busy, but then I get these alerts, and particularly from one Mr. Michael Bate, who I am surprised that he was coherent enough to send me a message, and he said, "Hey, Brandy O'Neill won for Heart and Soul." I said, "She did? Really? She's an award-winning she's an award-winning producer and musician." Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about that. You won for Heart and Soul, which is the bronze level award at the International Singer Songwriter Association Awards that was held in Atlanta last month.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that process. What was that? Well, before we start with the process, tell us a little bit about that night. How crazy was it for
It
you to figure out that you won?
it was insane
Mhm.
because you go in there and you're like, well, maybe I'm video of the year. Maybe,
Right.
for album of the year, I mean, that to me was huge,
Right.
you know, and there was such a pull, there's like 20, 25 other females in the category.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
these judges who are last year's winners listen to all of them. And to
Right.
me, to be peer reviewed and have
Mhm.
all the judges come together and say, this was great. I'm like, wow.
So here's
Wow.
my question. Here's my first question. What do you think they heard when they made that decision? What was it about Heart and Soul, in your opinion, that said, you know what, this was one of the best ones? What do you think it was?
That's a great question. It's been going through my mind,
Hmm.
and each song is its own song.
Right. Right.
Individual. Don't Tell Mama has a definite style and feel.
Hmm.
Heart
Right.
and Soul, totally different,
Hmm.
and I work hard at that
Hmm.
and really telling a story um, in a very unique way.
Right.
I can bend genres a little bit. And I think that really came across and they really appreciated, that. And there's the rocker crash and burn. You know,
Hmm.
the dance is just this kind of little poppy, thing.
Right.
So,
Right.
and I do EPs and I take the songs I know I can afford to produce and do well.
Hmm.
I
Right.
asked my producer to be here, but he's on the road.
Right.
So to talk about our process, which
What
is kind
what's what what's your producer's name?
his name is Tom Joya out of Visionary Music Group out of River
Oh,
Edge,
cool.
New Jersey.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and we've been together for 5 albums now.
Oh, nice, nice, nice.
And
Well, as someone who programs Blast Radio 247, which can be heard on Live 365 when you download the app, I can tell you that there is an authenticity about your music that sets it apart from a lot of other people. Also, the production value. Your production value is very, very clean. Your recording process, your instrumentation, the mixes, is very, very professional. And I think that in a field of independent music,
mm,
it is imperative that, because when you're indie, the majors are your competition. The majors with the major contracts, and the guys with electronic engineer PhDs and whatever. And you might just be in your bedroom studio, and these guys are your competition. So to
yeah,
get to a point where someone says, you know what, we need to give that one a trophy. I
yeah.
think you need to take a bow for that.
Oh, and we have some comments. I was so shocked. Like Minnie's like nudging me. You got to move. Like you're supposed to say something. Hi, Billy. Happy sunshine.
I waved. He didn't call me sunshine, but that's fine. Hey, how are you? But yeah. So I was so happy for you. What is it like? Because Blast Radio, we were nominated. I want to say 2 years ago,
That's when we met.
and
Yeah.
right 2 years ago, and I want to say last year I was nominated for engineer. I think so. I've been nominated a couple of years, and we had a lot going on with Blast this year, so we couldn't really make the investment to go. But tell us what the experience is like going to this award ceremony.
Oh, hi, Mr. Sunshine. You got one too.
Hey,
Okay,
that's gonna be my ranch name. That's gonna be my ranch slash
Mr.
Vegas
Sunshine.
name, Mr. Sunshine. There it
All right.
is.
Process is, you hear about red carpet events,
Right, right,
and until you experience it, they
right.
can be really overwhelming. You get all dressed up, you
Hmm.
know, and I had my little black dress on and my best cowboy boots,
Mm.
and and you get interviewed. You stand in line and you get interviewed
Right.
for different stations. Um, and then you go into the auditorium. You haven't eaten for hours. because you've been in line trying to get all the interviews that you possibly can. And there's just, you're there with a sea of talent.
Right.
Everyone went through the same process. Their fans had to vote them in,
Right.
right? So they
Right.
have to have a certain fan base,
Mm-hmm.
and then you make it in certain categories, and now you're turned over to the judges.
Right.
And again, these are indie artists, and nobody really pays much attention. You
Right.
know, we're getting harder to ignore because we're now, what, 40% of the market?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's the industry's own fault, but that's another podcast for another day. But you're absolutely right. We are becoming. It's not. You're not going to be able to ignore us.
Right, and they're starting to have indie branches of their big the record companies and things like that. It's getting
Right.
kind of crazy because we are organizing like this,
Mm-hmm.
like ISA, and they are now. I don't know if you know this, but they just announced it at the end of the award show. They are now recognized by the American Recording Academy, and all their gold winners are automatically go for a Grammy. They are in the pool.
Now that in and of itself is awesome. I did
That
not know that.
incredible. Nobody knew they were holding it under their hat. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, wow, the indies are getting harder and harder to ignore. For what you said, when I put something out,
Mm-hmm.
it's got to be radio ready.
Absolutely.
And if I'm going to get any plays at all, it's got to be up there with, you know, all the labels,
That's right.
People
That's
don't
right.
understand how hard that is. I think what's happening, DJ, this is D-Ray, this is a conversation here. I think, record companies are pushing what they put money in and they what you want to listen to.
Right.
The indies, if you listen to indie artists, you pick what you want to listen to.
That is absolutely correct. You are right. And I think also the majors have other agendas that sometimes it's not what you want to listen to, it's what they want you to listen to.
Right.
And
It doesn't make it the
and
best. It's not the best.
and exactly right. And I think that and we talk about this a lot on the Lift Off and on Blast and on our other podcasts, where it was the internet that really leveled the field. And now that people pay for access and not ownership, and so that has its
Yeah.
different caveats and it has its different pitfalls. But at the end of the day, it does give independent artists the opportunity to compete. 30, 40 years ago, and God, I'm old enough to remember 30, 40 years ago, it was unheard of for someone that did not live in Nashville or
Oh,
New York or LA, maybe Chicago. It was unheard of for them to even make any kind of a divot in the country music
right.
Americana field. And now you got people coming out of the blue. Agree, Mr. Billy.
Yeah.
Um,
Stand up for independent artists.
yeah, and and so now, but the responsibility still does go back to the independent artist because everything now is an investment that matters.
Mm.
And so you have to, the days of walking around with your demo tape hoping that a record company is going to make you a star, first and foremost, those days never existed, but the idea of it is not going to even exist anymore because literally you have to get out there and show what you know, you
You do.
know?
I agree. Nobody's doing demos anymore.
No, because I mean, like, think about it. Why, if I'm a record company and I know that I'm not pressing up CDs anymore, and I'm going to totally sustain my business on streaming, do you think that I'm going to invest $100,000 in a demo?
Yeah.
Hell no. I'm expecting you to come with a full album for 50, if that.
No fan base and all this other stuff. They don't do artist development anymore either. Okay, I'm back. What happened here?
I got kicked off too. It's all right. I thought it
That
was.
was good. We're
I thought
still
it was.
still going though, and we're still streaming, which is awesome because otherwise the stream ends and we're dead in the water. So
Hey, I thought it was me. I was like, what did I just do? Anyway, because this is my first time being the foreman of a ranch. Anyway, as I was saying before I was rudely interrupted by technology, um, you know, being radio ready, and I guess the overarching theme is for independent artists to make the investment in themselves.
mm,
Everything now is an investment. Your brand is an investment. The equipment is the investment. Your marketing and your promotion, and even going to an award ceremony is now an investment. Can you
right.
talk a little bit about what that looks like to as far as, and you don't have to get specific about how hard it hit your pocket, but what kind of investment is it to show up to these awards? We know as Blast Radio, we know firsthand what that investment looks like. But if you could share with your audience, I think they would get a benefit out of it. What does that look like for you?
Well, there's any award show you go to, you have tickets to the show.
Right.
You just don't show up and say I'm a nominee, and you get in for
Hmm.
free. You don't. You
Right.
everyone pays that price, and it's pretty steep. And then you're paying for travel to Atlanta. You
Right.
are paying your room and food.
Hmm.
What I did, Mindy, my drummer, came with me, and we did a few shows, and
Hmm.
we tried to offset some of the costs down that we did shows in Nashville,
Nice.
Knoxville. We had one in South Carolina, and then we head over to Atlanta.
That's very smart.
So why
Yeah.
don't we listen to one of the songs before we go
Yeah.
on?
Let's do that. Let's do that.
Let's listen to "Don't Tell Mama."
As an only child, I can relate to this.
Everyone, I don't care how old you are, you have a secret you haven't told your mama. And
Oh
it's the
God,
worst
yeah.
thing that could happen is your mama finds out.
Oh God, yeah.
In the morning light, it really shows. All the town where everybody knows. What happens then comes back around. You better hope no one makes a sound. Sneaking in and then you're sneaking out. We all know the company.
Yes, I almost fell into the koi pond.
That is such a fun song. And before we get into the process of that, listening to that song, I feel the need to share the time that I was a senior in high school and God busted me for sneaking out of the house. And it was only God. It was literally only God. I had this thing down that I knew when my mama got up in the middle of the night. I knew all the things. I had a radio playing. I had a dummy mannequin in my bed. I had it all laid down. And my grandmother, God rest her soul, said the Holy Spirit woke her up in the middle of the night to tell my mom that I was not in the room. And lo and behold, as I came home smelling like everything that I had just been into, I walk into my living room and my mom is in the dark like Clint Eastwood asking, "Did you have fun?" And I don't remember a whole lot after that. But needless to say, I didn't do that again.
Well, Billy says your secret is safe with us. We won't
You
tell
know, I wasn't safe that night. Let me just tell you. I
Oh my
believe, I believe she stepped over me to go to church in the next morning. How about that? But that's a fun song.
God.
What was the process in putting that song together?
Okay, I'm a counselor. I work with troubled youth,
Oh
and I
wow,
was
I did
working.
not know that.
Yeah. I 28 years. I was in a high school crisis counselor, addiction specialist.
Wow. Okay.
And I had this one Ukrainian chick. I mean, she was from Ukraine. They came here after. I mean, she's been here for a while, and she was one tough chick.
Right.
And I'm working with her, and she was just doing stupid things. And one day, she comes into my office, and she is hysterical crying, like losing it, and to the point she couldn't tell me what was wrong. And finally, all I heard was, "My mom found out." And I'm a counselor. I cannot stop laughing. I cannot start. I'm a counselor. I can't do it. And it's taken everything I have not to laugh and go, which one of the stupid things did she find out about?
Oh my
You know?
God.
And I went home
Oh
and I'm
my
like,
God.
we all have that moment. I have to write this song 20 minutes later. I wrote, I don't tell mama. I
That
never
is
told her I wrote a song about her.
that is hilarious. I actually remember wrecking a car. My mom had bought me a brand new car when I went to college, and I wrecked it 3 months after I had it. I totaled it, and I get out of the car, and I'm screaming, and the neighbors are coming out. I was like, "Is everybody okay? Did somebody get hurt?" And I went, "No, my mama's gonna kill me."
We all have those moments, you know.
Oh man! But
And
getting back to this investment, I think that because and shout out to Tammany Dove, who is over the ISA awards and the ISA Association. I think she puts on a very, very good show, and she does a lot for independent artists. But when you read, there's a little bit of flack that ISA gets with the expense of
mm,
going to the awards, and a lot of people don't really realize that there is not an award ceremony that you don't have to pay to attend.
oh, I
Um,
had friends who went to the Grammys. They paid 3,500 a ticket.
And a lot of people don't understand that if you're an independent artist, that means you don't have a major record company paying the recording academy for you to have a seat on the
Yeah,
floor,
right.
and so I remember I think the nosebleed seats might have been a couple of thousand, just to be in the place, you
Right,
know, and
right.
so I think you get what you pay for sometimes. Do you think that, and this is a curveball grenade of a question, do you think that it is worth the expense to come out on the other side as now an award-winning musician? Now you've already won, so you're kind of already an award-winning musician, but do you think that it is worth the expense of going through that entire process, you know?
I don't know. I won 2 years ago for a video of the year.
Mhm.
I'm not convinced they got me any more video views
Right.
than streaming.
Right.
Now this is the album of the year. What I'm hoping is that industry professionals will if I publicize it enough,
Right.
will take notice, that it'll get me some interviews, maybe some, some industry professional support, indie support,
Hmm.
management, booking, things like that.
Hmm.
So, I'm still, a week out of this, that I
Right.
wanted, I'm hoping that I could utilize it. I think
Right.
it's not just going to naturally happen. I think it's something that I'm going to have to really kind of effectively roll out to the
And
right people.
I think I remember hearing somebody or seeing someone say that even a small oar helps the boat move.
Right,
Um, and so you would much rather have award-winning artists in front of your name that can be verifiable than to not have it. But I
right.
think that it's a popular misconception that independent artists have, that they think that now that I won this award, I'm a star. And because we hear about, even with the Grammy slump. You win a Grammy, and then your next project flops and you lose your deal. Why is that? Because people are not going to gravitate to your music because you have Grammy award winning person in front of you. The music still has to do what it's supposed to do. You know?
Yeah, you still have to write good songs. Um,
Yeah.
and I'm hoping it helps. In 2 weeks, I have another song coming out. It's so funny.
Oh boy.
It's funnier than actually Don't Tell Mama. I go on a rant with I'm tired of married men hitting on me. I really am, and I just lose it, and I just
Wait a minute. Now wait just a minute. It's not their fault that you look good. I'm just saying. And no, I'm not speaking up for them. I'm just being a troublemaker because I'm a married guy too. So I'm just being a troublemaker.
getting flack from all the guys. I am. I think it's hysterical. I'm like, you're flirting with me. I get my hopes up, then I see a ring, and I'm like, no, 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 you're not coming home with me. And they're like, is that a maybe? And I'm like, no, like the song is a huge rant, and it's actually
Oh
starting a
my
dialogue
God.
that I think is hysterical. And I'm really having fun with it. The song isn't even out yet. I've been playing it live, but again, you're only
Uh,
as good as your last release.
that
You
is
know,
true. That is so,
and
so true.
it's hard.
So
It's a tough business because we don't have anyone behind us trying to help us to be consistent. You know,
yeah, and you have to be a self-starter. And a lot of times I think one of the things we run into at Blast is we have to warn artists and say, hey, you need to be out here in this ocean swimming as hard as we are. You need to actually be out working us. And we work hard.
yeah.
But if you're expecting us to swim for you, you're gonna drown. And so yeah, that misconception of, well, I had a release that charted 5 years ago. Okay, great for you. That
Oh,
was 5 years ago.
I met some of those even at ISA. They had hits years ago. Maybe they had a label years ago.
Right, right,
And
right,
they still
right.
want people to do for them, and it's not going to work. Okay, my next song, Crash and Burn, is
Okay.
about that. Using your instincts, or it's about a relationship. But
I feel like we got to have like an intervention with your relationships, but let's go ahead and listen to Crash and Burn.
all right, save that intervention. We're gonna crash and burn. And this song, I didn't think it got as much attention as it should have been because it's my Pat Benatar style rocker.
Oh
And
yeah.
and we actually filmed this in Costa Rica. But it's you go out with somebody and all the signals are there. This is bad. This is bad.
You notice my face changed when you said Costa Rica, right?
I know. I know.
It's inside joke, y'all. All right.
Crossing the line, I'm out of my mind. He opened the door and I knew the score. He gave it the chase and set the pace.
Love interest bad boy. All right. Okay, I'm not mad at it. Not mad at it at all. Oh boy, I love that song. I love the scenery. And the one thing that I will say, and not to further inflate your ego, but your music videos always tell the story of the song, and I think that's a lost art, especially when you're trying to promote your record. What kind of do you have like a thought process when you're doing your music videos, and what does that look like? Because they all have high production value, they all have some very good edits and some very good locations, and you seem to have a team of willing players as well. What is
No,
that process like when you do your videos?
some are more willing than others. Some
You know
are
what?
kicking and screaming.
You are provoking me, and I'm gonna the willing ones. That's the one we want to talk about.
Okay, okay, right. And it's funny because I write a song and I know instantly, like Wilderness Man, I was going to drag a bed to the middle of the woods with
Hmm.
a guitar, and and that's how the scene was going to go.
Right.
Um, it doesn't always come off. I wanted a truck crash and burn. I needed the road. I needed a truck going around. In Costa Rica, you know how hard it is to find a truck? It's
Yeah.
impossible. We had to borrow from the hotel guy's brother. Like it was funny as hell trying to track this down in Costa Rica. Um, the things I go through, and then I knew, this was gonna one was gonna be. I needed a medieval stalker, and
Right.
I don't know. It's just I know the story I want to tell. I know where the song is gone, and the imagery just kind of falls in place, and then you just kind of go with what you have, and
Right.
pulling that all together. You need
Hmm.
good photography, a lot of footage for your editor to work with.
Hmm.
And
Absolutely.
I tell them how they want to flow.
Right.
Um, and then you could do a lot with a good editor.
Yeah. Yeah. But also, you have to have it. All goes back, in my opinion, in my humble opinion. It all goes back to a very good story and a very good song and a very good performance, because the genre that you're in is a storytelling genre.
Right,
You
right,
know what I mean? So the idea of the music video not telling a story should be ludicrous, but trust and believe, I have seen a million of them that the video has absolutely nothing to do with what the song is talking about. You
right,
know, they
right,
go for the gratuitous shots, if you will, and it's like, okay, yeah, but that doesn't tell me anything about this song or anything.
right, right. I really try to, in some way, stick true to that. Um, Wings to Fly.
Hmm.
It was about online dating. It gets really scary when you meet people, and
True.
you know, and I took it to a medieval castle. And so the story played out with the exact same story. Like you couldn't get away from this creepy guy, and I have wings to fly. I'm getting out of here. Like so. I just changed the setting. I played with that a little bit
Right.
sometimes.
Right.
But the story is just definitely there.
Well,
So
I have to say that there's only one thing missing from the crash and burn video, and that's some cougars. Because you definitely got your cougar thing going on in the video. The mini skirt, the Marilyn Monroe thing when the skirt was flying up. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I saw it, and
okay, here's what happened. Here's what happened. That was not even attention. It's not even my fault. I had a whole wardrobe that I was going to use, but it was 95 degrees in the shade in Costa Rica, and I couldn't get my I couldn't make it work. So I'm like, I just grabbed this skirt, and that was not the skirt I wanted to wear. It was not the
uh,
wardrobe I wanted to wear.
speaking for all men on planet Earth, it is going to be on somebody's tombstone that she said it wasn't her fault.
It wasn't as planned. Let's just go with that. It was. It was
Not that
not.
I not that I'm complaining. I'm not complaining one bit. I'm just saying, you know, I'm just saying, Mr. Johnny Mr. Johnny had a great role in the video.
Wait till you see him. He's in the dance as well.
Oh
Um,
wow.
yeah, he's in the dance. Heart and Soul is actually the title track,
Hmm.
and that's actually an interesting song because I had liked somebody,
Right.
and the scariest part of being about falling for someone is if you don't know they like you back, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's terrifying, right? So I'm
Right.
writing this song because I like this guy,
Hmm.
and show me your heart and your soul, and then he did me wrong.
Oh,
I mean,
bastard.
really, really, like, really wrong.
Hmm.
I'm trying to finish this song, and I take it into the studio, and this song had become a German death metal song. You have my heart and soul,
Oh
And
my
so I had
god.
to go, Tom, this isn't what I want the song to be.
Right.
Calm it down. And he's looking at the lyrics going, get rid of that line. Get rid of that line. Get rid of that
Hmm.
line. Get rid of that. And we had to really reel it back in
Hmm.
to what it was supposed to be when I started it.
Relationships are hard. Yeah, yeah.
Oh man.
But in that particular case, do you find and are you gonna play? You're gonna play that?
Yeah. You want me to
Okay.
play that? I'll play that now.
Before you do, let
Okay.
me ask you this: do you find it therapeutic and cathartic that songwriting is such a release for you that when you're going through these personal things, these
Mm.
challenges, and now you have something that a lot of people don't have because a lot of people either keep it pent up or they go drink, they go do drugs, they go do whatever. You go pick up a guitar and get to yell in the studio for 2 or 3 hours and come out with something that might be a hit and might win you an award. So
Yeah.
do you
And
how does that make you feel? Is it therapeutic for you?
it is definitely therapy
Hmm.
to get stuff written down. Daddy's Pride. I just released a song, These Walls, about abusive kids who have to come home to unsafe places.
Hmm.
But I got to tell you, there's songs that are hard for my sisters to listen to.
Right.
When I talk about, my abusive childhood and my
Hmm.
alcoholic parents and things like that, and I throw it out there, like, you know, um, with a drink in his hand and evil in his heart. My daddy never taught me pride.
Right.
So I do throw it out there, and there are some songs that are just hard to sing.
Yeah.
And you got to be present with every single performance. And there's sometimes you're having a good day, and you're like, I don't want to sing this song, but you
Mhm.
can't. You have to bring it,
Right.
with
Right.
your performance.
Right.
And that's actually, there was one song I'm like, Tom, I don't know if I'm going to get through this. He's like, we'll break it apart. We'll break it apart. Just,
Right.
and, that's what we have to do.
I,
Um,
I actually had something very similar to happen when my father passed away a couple of years ago. And at the very same time that I'm going through that, I had been commissioned to do a remix for one of our mutual friends. And the remix came out as something like something that maybe Nirvana would have sung if when they were angry. And I remember him like, yeah, that's pretty good, dude. And but at the time it was just like that's what came out, and in hindsight. And I think a lot of times you have to be honest with yourself and what you can handle, especially if you want it to be authentic, you know.
right.
So
Right.
I'll have to send you that so you can tell me it's like, hey man, maybe you do need some therapy.
You can do that. All right, let's listen to Heart and Soul. And again, I tried to capture that loneliness of not knowing if the other person cares. So you're at home alone. and another one where I'm rolling around. You behave yourself over there.
Who, me?
Never from afar, I wanna know who you are. Make it up in my head, we'd be wed. The night heats up this fire between us. You're deep inside me with so much in between us. I'm going down, down, down to the deep unknown. Show me your heart and your soul. I'm going down, down, down to the dark unknown. Don't let me go there alone. My lover comes around, my heart's on the ground. You touch my soul, was that even your goal? I let you in, it shouldn't be a sin. You're everywhere, so far under my skin. I'm going down, down, down to the deep unknown. Show me your heart and your soul. I'm going down, down, down to the dark unknown. Don't let me go there alone. Read me up and took me for a ride. My feelings for you can't hide. I'm going down, down, down to the deep unknown. Show me your heart and your soul. I'm going down, down, down to the deep unknown. Show me your heart and your soul. I'm going down, down, down to the dark unknown. Don't let me go there alone. Alone into the deep dark unknown.
So, I'm going to be responsible and professional, e- even though you were standing there like a Greek goddess on a bed like a sacrifice to the god of lust. I'm going to ignore that and tell you, you have such an affinity for great storytelling and for water. Um, I
Water.
no, and that's no. And I mean that seriously because I find that when I'm near like a beach, lake, river, whatever, something happens to my personality that I feel like I need to live there forever. Do you
Mhm.
find that you are more creative in Costa Rica? Because that's an inside joke that you never take me with you. But
I know.
do you find yourself that there are areas that you are more creative in than others?
I love water. I do. I surf,
Absolutely, yeah.
I scuba, I was a diver, I lived in water. I work hard. Like this is my studio, my creative energy space. I don't do bills here. I don't do any this is my I charge this with really great positive creative energy.
Hmm.
So so I can do some writing. A lot of writing is done here. Um I feel a lot of positive energy when I'm at the beach, and I really can let go of things. You know, who
Right.
runs around with a sheep behind them?
Like a siren?
Off rocks
No. Did
and
did I say that?
no, yeah, okay. So
Are you blushing? You are not allowed to blush while I'm on the ranch. Um, I do have a follow-up question though. Um,
okie dokie.
People tend to fall for the public image and ignore the real person. Have you ever found that people see you on stage or they see you on these music videos and there's because there has to be a separation in this business of what the public sees and what I do in my private life. Do you find that it's hard to make that translation and to make that correlation to them? It's like, hey, you might see me, in a white dress on the beach, but I'm telling a story. This is not like living out a fantasy or anything like that. Do you find that difficult to kind of correlate that?
I've been trying to navigate that because Heart and Soul, I was leading into the sassiness of Randy O'Neill,
Mm,
Donna,
right.
Randy
Hmm.
O'Neill, and Don't Tell Mama, Crash and Burn, like really
Right.
exploring going to the extremes of that.
Hmm.
But then there are songs on there like Olivia, which is about
Hmm.
domestic violence, and those are my counselor roots,
Right.
you know.
Hmm.
And I'm exploring the sides of the story. I'm making a story about that too, and so part of me is using my alter egos back and forth to create really good music.
Right.
It's funny. I can be alive and sassy, but start
Hmm.
talking about domestic violence and child abuse, and I'm like serious as a heart attack. Like
Absolutely, as you should be.
you you know. So, and I think that kind of can shock some people. Like they see all
Right.
sassy, and you're just and I make fun of I make light of stuff on stage, but to me that stuff is serious, it's real, and it's something I do want to talk about, but on a different level.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So there's a quote that was made famous by Nelson Mandela that he said, "I either win or I learn.
Mm,
I don't lose."
right.
So with Heart and Soul, we see what you won. What did you learn?
I learned that if I really can go to my creative edges, I'm at my best.
Mm,
When I don't filter,
right.
like I really leaned into Don't Tell Mama, like, and just had fun with that concept. The same
Hmm.
with Heart and Soul. I kind of leaned into that, and we're going to be listening to the dance, in a second. And, we talk about creative spaces, and you need to feel safe to do that. And it
Right.
took a few albums, I think. I did a little bit in Full Moon Rising, Queen of the Barstool two step was
Hmm.
I keep stepping.
Right.
And I learned going to those really extreme creative places can pay off in ways that I didn't think it would.
Yeah, sometimes you got to step outside of your comfort zone, and once you get comfortable there, you got to step outside even more.
Even more, even
Yeah,
more.
absolutely.
You're playing with different things. Queen of the Barstool, I really played with song structure,
Hmm.
um, not playing with the rules of song
Hmm.
structure.
Mhm.
And I'm really playing with heart and soul, talking about country music, stepping outside what country music wants women artists to be.
Whew, that's a separate podcast in and of itself, isn't it?
It really is. It really is.
Hmm.
And you're trying to make strides in a genre with expectations, especially for women. And
Right,
to me, it was really important that this song stepped outside those parameters and people noticed
right,
and it was
absolutely,
rewarded. And that feels so good.
absolutely. Well, we're running out of time, so let's go ahead on and just play this. Let's
Let's
let it
play
rip.
the dance because this song we played with the big boys. This was on national charts. It made it to
Nice,
number 10. Um, above Blink 182, no
right,
lies. So
nice.
this is the dance, and I'm actually again looking for romance. Somebody's interested, but there's no spark. So let's see
Oh
what happens.
boy,
Sitting at the bar like I did the night before. He buys a drink and I know what he thinks. Looking fine, he's kinda on my mind. You're coming at 6, I always predict. Tell me, will there be a spark? Tell me, when will my heart start? We go through this dance and call it romance. We go through this dance and call it romance. Don't even put on my fancy clothes. I can impress with just a few drinks. The seed is there, but will it grow? The night moves on and it's moving slow. Tell me, will there be a spark? Tell me, when will my heart start? We go through this dance and call it romance. We go through this dance and call it romance. Through the motions with no real emotion. The dance that we dance is between of me and you. Tell me, will there be a spark? Tell me, when will my heart start? We go through this dance and call it romance. We go through this dance and call it romance.
look like
Oh,
sparks to me, but who am I?
I know we were having too much fun. Actually, friends of mine, they were shooting, and
Mm.
we were having too much fun. I'm like, we need to have less fun, but we just kept laughing. So we're like, we're going with
No, because I like it. I like it a lot. It's a catchy song, and the video is very fun. So I like it a lot. Tell everybody what is next for you.
All right, we have that smile coming out in 2 weeks, which is the
I
middle of September.
I feel like I need to come back on and talk about that because I feel like I'm gonna have a lot to say.
All right. We can do that. We can make that happen. We can make that happen.
Absolutely.
It's going to be a dialogue, and I'm going to love it. And all the girls are going to be in the clubs going, no, no, no. I love it. So I'm going to work on that. Oh, this is good. I did a songwriting course.
Nice.
I did. It's 2 parts, 3 or 4 sessions each.
Mm-hmm.
It's cheap. It's just I want to get people thinking of their own process and their own stories,
Nice.
how they could pull it together. So whether you've written a song ever before, it's online, no pressure. You watch the video. I run through things, and you could take a stab at it. And if you want me to help you, I'll give it a listen. So I can't wait to launch that.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. Anything that Blast can do to help you promote that, let us know. 'Cause, you know, you're family to us, and even though I tease you a lot, you're like my sister. So my sister from another mister.
That's
So,
right.
but yeah, anything we can do with that, we are fully behind to support you.
All right. Yeah, I'll catch up with you later and send you links and stuff.
Please do.
Yeah, it's
All
almost
right.
ready to go. It's almost ready to go. So thank you so much.
This was fun. I almost don't want to give up my seat at the ranch.
Waiting for a steer to come up behind you.
No, because a steer knows that's dinner. They don't want to do that. You be blessed. Keep making great music, and I'm looking forward to whatever comes next for you. Honestly,
right.
I mean that.
Thank you for taking the time out and helping me share, my win with everyone that's watching. And I do
Anytime.
appreciate you guys every week. We're back next Monday live at 7 on the ranch. Lexi's up next. So yeah, it's going to be a great show. So thank you so much. And we'll see you guys next week.
I'm on the road, don't know where it goes. I'm on the road, follow your heart, it won't let you down. Follow your heart, take the steps beyond